This topic is just one of many that we have to discuss with Mayor John Tory as he joins us live this morning for his weekly check-in. Good morning, Mayor Tory.
Hi, Tammy.
First of all, I want to check in. We're almost a week into your COVID diagnosis. How are you feeling? Are you still in isolation?
I feel great. My isolation technically ended yesterday, but just out of an abundance of caution, I'm spending an extra day or two working from home. But my symptoms were quite intense. I mean, I heard Sid talking about this in terms of people thinking they had this or that. I had symptoms that were quite intense for a day and a half. A headache, cough, a sore throat, all the things you've heard about. But they went away after a day and a half, and I think that was thanks to the fact I was triple vaccinated. A lot of people who are not vaccinated, they don't have the same good fortune, and they end up in the hospital. So I didn't, and I've had to serve out the time here in isolation. I've been kept busy, but I'm feeling much better, and I'm going to be, taking appropriate care to wear a mask and so on when I get back to work in the office, which I will hope to do tomorrow.
Okay, good news that you're feeling a lot better and that you're going to be heading back out there. Staying with masks now, of course, we have news of a TDSB teacher being put on home assignment because of some questionable mask messaging to students. We don't know exactly what that messaging was, but, whether to wear a mask or not has been a hot topic. Do you think that as we approach April 27th, that day when the provincial mask mandate for public transit and long-term care is supposed to be dropped, do you think that that mask mandate should be extended beyond April 27th?
Yes, I do, but I've been very careful all the way through not to express that just as a personal view, because that's what I think. I've said we rely on the advice of the doctors, and Dr. Moore himself has said he thinks it's very likely that they will extend it because in places like that, transit, long-term care, these are higher risk kinds of settings for people being crowded together. And so I wish they would just get on with saying that's what's going to happen because Dr. Moore has hinted at it. I think that the decision made by Beck Taxi to have people continue to wear a mask in their taxis is a wise one. It's their decision, but I think it's wise because, again, you're in close quarters with people that you don't know. And so I just think, that most people accept the fact that wearing a mask is a prudent thing to do. You see, very good compliance with it on the TTC. There was maybe a bit of a dip when people were confused about the rules, but I think people are back up wearing the masks again. And I frankly, for myself, I will only say I don't find it a big hassle to do it, and that I think it may have helped to stop the spread, even from somebody like me when I was, unwittingly got COVID, and that if I had a mask on, that meant that I was, less likely to be spreading it to other people. So I just think it's prudent to do that based on medical advice, not on politics, and it shouldn't be a divisive political argument at the school board or anywhere else.
All right. We had FISA Amin live from Union Station. We have this strike of about 100 workers down there who deal with signal maintenance and train direction as well. So far, so good when it comes to delays. We haven't heard of any yet, but the longer this goes on, there's always that possibility. Are you concerned that this could be hitting Go Transit, Up Express harder than you can expect when you're trying to get people back to transit?
Yeah, well, first, of course, we want to make sure people are kept safe. But yes, you're right. We're trying to get people back on transit and coming back downtown because this will help to, re-enliven the downtown in terms of business and so on. I'm sure the supervisors can try and keep things, going and keep the trains running on time, as it were. And I guess what you hope then is that the two sides will just sit down at the negotiating table. We're not involved in those negotiations, but I would hope they could resume negotiations because you're sure of one thing, you won't get a settlement if you're not talking. So I hope they talk. In the meantime, the supervisors will have to keep people safe, and we just hope there aren't any service disruptions in the meantime as we do try to get people riding transit again and coming downtown to work in cases where that's where they work.
And transit safety, a big issue this week. We have this woman who was pushed to the tracks at Young Bloor Station. We have a very terrifying robbery investigation at Pioneer Village where someone was choked unconscious during a robbery there. Is enough being done when it comes to transit safety on the TTC to let those passengers feel like they can return and feel safe?
Well, I think the bottom line is there's a lot being done, and you'll also hear on the other side of this sometimes when we have more of the special constables on the TTC that the people feel over-policed on the TTC. So we have to strike that balance, but always, opting in favor of public safety. And the TTC take many measures. You can see some of the things there where you can cut power. They have strips to push. There are people, special constables patrolling. I think that, thank God, this woman had the wherewithal to get herself hidden underneath the ledge there when that terrible incident occurred. That's kind of a random incident. information. And it does start the debate up again about the permanent doors that could be put on the platform. And that's a debate that's been going on for decades, long before I was mayor. And it comes down to a discussion that you have that's a difficult one, but that says, do you spend $1.5 billion putting those doors in? Or do you spend that $1.5 billion, for example, expanding the transit system? And it's not that choice, but it's certainly that is the kind of choice that's put in front of us. So this is a constant topic of concern, including the safety of our TTC operators. And we're hard at work on that because there have been some recent unacceptable incidents in that regard, because our operators need to be safe as well. So it's something that I talk to the CEO of the TTC about regularly, including in the last few days. And we're trying to make sure the system stays safe, which it is. I mean, it is safe, except for these kinds of random incidents. It's a very safe system to ride on.
All right. Thank you very much, Mayor Tory, for joining us this morning. I hope you have your Raptors jacket handy. I'm going to send you over to Mel and Sid next.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Tim. And speaking of that Raptors jacket, we do have one near here. We'll bring it out in just a second. Mayor Tory, good to hear that you are doing well. You missed Easter with your family. Was that the first time you've been away from your family?
No, I think it's about the third time in a row now because of COVID, because in previous years, they were either traveling or there were restrictions on as to who you could be with. And because I was out and about during COVID, like I was going to the office all the time to try and do my job there, helping to manage the pandemic, I was always sort of the risky one in the household in terms of being out, whereas others were not. So I think I've missed Easter. Maybe this is the third year in a row. And so that's the way it is. But, there are many people that have had worse situations in their lives than me. I did, by the way, Mel, as you probably remember from last week, Sid wasn't there, but I reported on a poll that I'd taken among some women who are big fans of his.
Yes.
So they're big fans of his. They just love him. So I should report that first. That's the good news. Then I said to them, well, look, do you think, as a result of the fact you love him so much, do you think I give him too hard a time when I rib him a bit? And they said, absolutely not.
They like
Absolutely not. It was unanimous. They said I should just carry on holding him to account, and so I intend to do just that.
But there's a margin of error of 2% in this polling,
Plus or
right?
minus. Yeah.
That's right. But welcome back anyway, Sid. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Mayor Tory. Good to see you. Look, we got a big basketball game tonight here, Mayor Tory. Let's get to the real issue. Look, and I genuinely, I've been accused in the past of having no soul, and sometimes people have been right.
Who said that?
But Twitter. But I genuinely feel terrible for Nick Nurse and this basketball team right now, considering the circumstances that have developed. But, Mayor Tory, we've seen crazier things in the NBA before. How are you feeling going into that game tonight with the Raptors behind the eight ball in a lot of aspects?
Well, I mean, you can't sort of feel, comfortable about it or complacent. But, I mean, the Raptors have not had strong starts to all the series they've been in going back a long way, especially the first game.
Yep.
And so, then you add to that, Scotty Barnes is out. You add to that, in the second game, they just weren't shooting. I mean, they were having, just very, very bad luck. So they've got to get their defense together. They've had quite a few points scored on them. They've got to, start hitting some of those baskets. But I'm an optimist. I mean, they've come back from down 2-0 before, and they're in front of a home crowd for the first time since 2019, as you were pointing out earlier. And so, look, fingers crossed. And the jacket I have had out. I did a video.
We have breaking news. Mayor Tory, we have breaking
What?
news. I believe we have found said jacket. Melanie Ng.
I feel very Tom Hanks and big, right?
I think it's a little big for you, Mel.
A little much, but this might do it, Mayor Tory. This.
It could. I have mine. I should have not known to bring it along, but it's just about 10 feet away. But so look, we'll need all the help we can get with Mel wearing that jacket. I'll put mine on, and I'm confident. This is a young team of destiny. If you look at what it took for them to get the seeding they got in the playoffs, it was extraordinary. Nobody even expected them to make the playoffs. So here they are. Let's cheer them on. They're our guys, and they're going to do just great tonight.
Well, it's great to see you,
right.
Mayor Tory, because we know you got hit with this. So we appreciate the fact that you're back in the office tomorrow.
Yes.
And to all of your all the people around you in your office who enjoy the ribbing on me, give
keep
them my
going.
best. Give them all my best.
These weren't people in my office. These were the public, your audience.
He did a focus group.
Yes, many people are saying
but
yes.
they think you need to be kept in line from time to time.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
this segment's for them.
We'll
This
keep it going.
segment's for them. Mayor
Thanks, Mayor Tory.
take care.
Have a great
Enjoy
day.
the game
Take care.
tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Get
Bye
well.
now. Thanks a lot. You too.
Mayor John Tory talking
Oh, it's
basketball
worth
here.
it.